So what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Raider Critique, where we tell the truth with intensity, and we don't drink the corporate Kool-Aid. As you can see, man, there's been all kinds of news, and hopefully all the audio is looking good here. Well, I'm going to actually hit the soundboard right quick, see if everybody can hear exactly what I'm saying. Can you hear the soundboard? I just need to make sure everybody can hear everything I'm putting in here. I'm hitting the soundboard. All right, good. All right, so it's all working. What's going on, everybody in the chat, man? I got Otis, I got Seabass, Els, Ghost, Dizzy, my lovely wife, and Afakasi, my brother. Welcome back to the Raider Critique. Well, we've been making moves today. Making all kinds of moves today from everything I've been reading, and I'm basically going to react on everything that I have seen. Now, I didn't make any cool backdrops. I didn't do anything like that, bro. But I did want to come over here and really react to what I'm seeing. The first bit of news we got was that we signed the Miami Dolphins defensive tackle. I believe his name is Wilkins. Now, he's a damn good player. All right, he disrupted a lot of shit for the Miami Dolphins earlier last year. What, Christian Wilkins? And he had 9 sacks. I believe that's what he had last season. Let me go over here and look, because Digital Prez has been the one really keeping me up on all this. There was a few moves that were made today that we've been talking and just kind of bullshitting about. But, I'm still kind of iffy on the Belial Nichols extension. But Christian Wilkins, and I believe that, Ern's got it posted up in here as well. He had 65 total tackles, 38 solo, 27 assists with 9 sacks. Every year prior to that, 2022, he had 3.5 sacks. In 2021, he had 4.5 sacks. In 2020, he had 1.5. And in 2019, he had 2. All right. He had a fumble recovery in 2020, a fumble recovery and a forced fumble in 2021. And 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery for 2 yards in 2022. He had 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries in 2023, along with his 9 sacks. So I could see why some would say that, this might be overpaying, even though this is a legend, because, of course, we're just in the tampering period at the moment. Nothing has been made official yet. We've got a couple days before everything can be made official. But official to, the most that it could possibly be from it being speculation. I mean, it's the tampering period. And normally when these stories come out, it's true. So we got this Christian Wilkins guy, and he's a great defensive tackle. I think he's going to be a great addition to our already beasting defense that we have. But then we got the news, man. Then the news dropped. All right. Josh Jacobs will not be back as a Raider this next year. I already know how my boy Hardcore feels about it. I haven't even talked to him. I know exactly how he feels about it. But this is why we didn't get him. And everybody focus in on Josh Jacobs right here. All right? There was no way we were going to break down a 4-year deal for $48 million. There's just no way we were ever going to break that down. And, his to sign is 12.5. 12.5 a year. 4 years. I mean, there's no way the Raiders were going to fucking spend that. Especially knowing damn well that you always get a lot better production out of a running back who's on his rookie deal. You got guys who are really trying to prove it. And we can easily go off into the draft and pick somebody up. You know, there's quite a few of these guys who were, this is from Spot Track, by the way. And it basically lists on who's pretty much going. Saquon Barkley is going to Philly. Tony Pollard going to Tennessee. DeAndre Swift, Chicago. Devin Singletary's going to the Giants. Gibson's going to New England. Gus Edwards to the Chargers. Shit. And then Austin Eckler, I guess, has got a deal with Washington. And then Chase Edmonds, he hasn't done shit yet. I guess they haven't really moved on from him. Derrick Henry has not found a home yet. These are the guys who have not found a home yet. Possible replacements for Josh Jacobs, you know. What do you guys think? I'm going to read them off one by one here. Got Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, which is the guy that Josh Jacobs is replacing. He's 29 years old. You got Joe Mixon, Cordell Patterson, Nyheim Hines, Alexander Madison, Ezekiel Elliott, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, dude who couldn't stay healthy, Donta Foreman, Boston Scott, Damian Harris, Cam Akers. Oh, I'm going to fucking butcher that. Dare Ogunbowale. I knew I was going to butcher it. Ogunbowale. Yeah. Salvin Ahmed, J.K. Dobbins. I believe J.K. Dobbins was in talks with somebody. I can't remember who. Matt Breida. Kareem Hunt. Rashad Penny, A.J. Dillon, Jerick McKinnon. A very familiar name in Latavius Murray. Ernest Johnson, Ty Johnson, Marlon Mack, Rico Doodle, Josh Kelly, DJ Dallas, Lynn Bowden, another familiar name, Eno Benjamin, Raheem Blackshear, Julius Chestnut, and Patrick Taylor. These are all the guys left. I'm sure that there's going to be more of them gone by tomorrow. More people who are going to basically be, committing to their new teams. If there's anybody on this list that I would take, I think I could narrow it down to maybe 4. But let me know what you guys think in the chat, Raider Nation. Which one of these running backs do you believe that we should sign to take the place of Josh Jacobs, who is potentially going to Green Bay on a $48 million deal for 4 years? At $12 million a year, $12.5 million a year that we weren't even going to pay him. So, to me, Raider Nation, to me, top 4 that I would take, like that I would really go ahead and pull paperwork on, and just, and I would definitely pull their flyer. Number 1, and regardless on how, Raider Nation feels about it, about how they feel about domestic violence and domestic abuse and how that's not Raider and how we don't sign people like that. And that's why we didn't get Eric Bieniemy. Number 4 would be Kareem Hunt. I think we should pull a flyer on Kareem Hunt. Number 3, Donta Foreman. Donta Foreman was beasting toward the end of last year, and he really showed that he's extremely hard to take down. Definitely a similar style running back as Josh Jacobs was, being physical. I think we probably should pull a flyer on Donta Foreman. Number 2, and and just for the hell of it, maybe go and look at like a Marlon Mack or a Matt Breida. You know, take a look at one of these guys. But my number one pick out of this whole free agent roster right here would be Joe Mixon, running back, the ex-running back for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I don't know, you guys can agree, you might not agree. It doesn't matter, that's what in the hell we're all talking about this for. But we don't have Josh Jacobs anymore. And if we go and look into the draft, maybe that's exactly what we need to do, is go look into the draft to go ahead and pick up a running back. But there are some viable options right here in free agency. I know that would be my top four. And see, I see a couple of y'all already saying Mixon and Henry. Yeah, sorry, I ain't been paying attention to the chat. I was looking at that screen there. But I want to salute everybody for jumping in here, man. As a Prez, brother, El Captain Raphael, what's going on? Seabass, good to see you. Otis, Al's Ghost, Dizzy. See who else I got. My brother Ern, what's going on, bro? It's good to see you, man. It's been a while since I've seen you. You got the StreamYard link in the chat if you want to jump in. Raider Twan, good to see you, brother. But then we move on. Stop talking about running backs. I think running backs, I think I've pretty much well covered it. I think you guys pretty much over here have well covered it in the chat too. I mean, if it's not a Derrick Henry or a Joe Mixon, I mean, honestly, I think Derrick Henry would be too goddamn much. And Derrick Henry, to me, even as big as of a beast as he is, he looks like he's lost a step. To me, he has anyway. And I'm not going to pull a flyer on Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, he showed up to the Patriots camp last year looking completely overweight, out of shape, definitely not football ready. I mean, Kareem Hunt is still productive, and I think all the guys that I've mentioned were pretty much still productive in their current scheme that they were playing in. So we can move on from running back, and let's talk about the next move we made. And my brother Ern will even say, man, that Christian Wilkinson move, it's a good move, but man, we just literally blew half of our cap money on one player. So he needs to pan out. I think, what was it? It's like $85 million guaranteed, $110 million for a 4-year deal. There, let me go back and look at that, because that was actually something that they were showing. Just go to all of it here, all positions, update it. Let me move on over to where you guys can see it too. Oh, this is the other one. We signed Garner Minshew with a 2-year, $25 million deal that includes a $15 million fully guaranteed. And that's from Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, which, I mean, that's as good as gold. You know, you're gonna, you might as well just go ahead and call that. Yeah, and Christian Wilkins was signing a 4-year, $110 million contract that includes $84.75 million guaranteed. And that's from Ian Rappaport. So that's us right there. But that wasn't the screen I wanted to share yet. That was kind of fucking stupid of me. That was kind of dumb of me. But let's stop sharing that one and share this one over here. That's the one I wanted. Okay. These are all the guys off the board right now. Christian Wilkins is number 2. Number 2 at $110 million. The only one exceeding him and superseding him is Kirk Cousins at $180 million. Is that $90 million guaranteed at signing? and $100 million guaranteed total to Atlanta? Holy shit. And I thought we overspent. But we did spend quite a bit of money there on Christian Wilkins. Now, if we go to quarterback, we'll update it here. It shows you that Kirk Cousins was signed to a 4-year deal at $180 million. And the next one closest to him as quarterback was Gardner Minshew at 2 years at $25 million. $15 million guaranteed. Pretty much, I mean, these numbers right here, it's a 2-year deal. I mean, it doesn't scream starter, but he's going to eventually, he's going to compete for the job, I would say. You know? Russell Wilson, everybody wanted him. Yeah, didn't sign with us. You know? And I still think that would have been a much better deal, especially since he would have been on a team-friendly deal, but I guess we didn't even talk to him. We got Gardner Minshew. But, yeah, I mean, really, you've got... I don't really see anybody in here I would have even pulled the flyer on anyway. I'm glad we got rid of Brian Hoyer. I might have pulled the flyer on Joe Flacco, but you know, maybe Teddy Bridgewater. But everybody, maybe a Tyrod Taylor. I don't know. Gardner Minshew ain't really a bad pick. It's not terrible. You know, I'm more pissed off about letting Josh Jacobs go than anything. But I mean, honestly, I mean, he's better than fucking Jimmy Garoppolo. He's better than Brian Hoyer. So I'm not going to complain too much about Gardner Minshew. What's going on, Farrahan? I mean, really, what's up, Raider Nation? Jason, Alfredo, Aunt Six, my brother. But I mean, yeah, man, I mean, it's not a bad pick. I mean, it's not like they're paying a shit ton for him. But are we not going to move up in the draft? I don't know. I think it's going to cost a lot to move up in the draft to try to go and snag a quarterback. But we might not even go and snag a quarterback in this draft. And that's real shit. That scares me. That scares me that we're not going to go. I don't know if we're going to pull the trigger on getting a quarterback. That we're just going to run with AOC and Gardner Minshew. Maybe we can pick up a rookie in the second round. I don't know. But I know that there's only like, I mean, I want to say at least 5 or 6, maybe even 7 decent quarterbacks, because I believe that there are a lot of good NFL-ready style quarterbacks in this draft. And I ain't talking about J.J. McCarthy, you know, but there are some decent quarterbacks in this draft. And I don't know if they're going to be there by pick 13. And, you know, as much as it makes sense to get rid of Hunter Renfrow and trade him up, maybe that's not in this regime's plans. I know Tom Telesco is starting to look pretty damn suspect, throwing $84.75 million guaranteed at one player who's only got who's really only fucking been good 1 year. So, and yeah, hey, what's going on? It is what it is. It's good to see. What if we get a running back on our first pick? And I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that. I'm all about building and grabbing a rookie running back instead of picking up a free agent, because for one, free agents got some wear and tear on them. You know, you get a guy in there who is young, hungry, like a Josh Jacobs was, and you get him on a 5-year on a 5-year rookie deal, it'll work out for you, just like Josh Jacobs worked out for us. So I'm not opposed to going and looking for a running back in the draft. I honestly think that's probably what we should do. What's going on, Fire Bro? It threw me off too, man. I was like, Gardner Minshew? Really? I mean, I guess, but I mean, it didn't move me like, oh fuck yeah! No, it wasn't nothing like that. It wasn't nothing like that at all. It was just like, fucking really? Makes sense, I guess. You know, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I mean, and then I look over in the free agent quarterbacks, there really wasn't much better, I guess. But we didn't even talk to Russell Wilson. I mean, we could have got him at a hell of a fucking deal, but now Pittsburgh's got him at a hell of a deal. You know, for one, I can honestly say that's probably a move that we probably should have made. We didn't make it. You know, still doesn't make any damn sense on why we moved to Jimmy Garoppolo just to eventually having to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo and basically doing another lateral move as far as I'm concerned. But here's the thing. Gardner Minshew will at least stay healthy. And if he has to get in the damn game, he'll at least play half-ass decent. There's no fucking way he could be any worse than Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no fucking way. 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. There's no way he could be any worse than Jimmy Garoppolo. Real fucking talk. Now, I mean, we finally got ourselves a defensive lineman. Now let's see it. Let's see him prove it. You know, I'm real interested to see what other moves we're going to make. I want to see what we're going to do with Hunter Renfrow. Are we going to keep? I will be. I don't want to say that I'm going to be disappointed if we keep him, but I believe, and this is just me, you know, it's just how I feel personally about it. I feel like that we would miss an opportunity to gain some type of collateral off of him if we didn't move on from him this year and try to trade him and try to move up or whatever. You know, I mean, because his contract really, I mean, for what he has been doing, at least underneath Josh McDaniels and a half a year up underneath AP, you know, it's just not the same. He's not the same as he was when he played for Gruden. And it is what it is. I think we probably should move on from him because of how much his contract is and his lack of production in the schemes that we've been running. So, and yeah, see, there you go, West Side. Wilkins got 27.5 per year. That is fucking high for a defensive tackle. But we need a defensive tackle. And then we re-signed Belial Nichols. And I don't want to be a fucking Debbie Downer over here, but what the fuck did Belial Nichols do? We re-signed Belial Nichols. And we let go of Jerry Tillery. Jerry Tillery at least had 2 sacks. And Jerry Tillery was like the one dude that we knew that if we brought him in, he was at least going to create pressure on the quarterback. Now, there were some games where he fell flat and he was non-existent. But what did Belial Nichols do, man? I think I only heard the commentators maybe call his name once or twice all year last year. But we're going to re-sign Belial Nichols. Why? Because he was cheap? 2 years, $14 million? Well, yeah, that's what you're going to get out of a player you're not getting any production out of. And I don't like, you know, Tom Telesco. We know how Tom Telesco feels about Jerry Tillery. And I hope that is not the deciding factor on why Jerry Tillery was removed and Belial Nichols was retained. Stupid fucking move. Stupid fucking move. And I hope to God that I'm wrong about that. I don't think we draft a quarterback this year. Maybe a late rounder. We already have AOC to serve as a backup. And I think we're going to go with Minshew for the season. Ouch. You know, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. Is that even if I don't want it, that's fucking probably what's going to happen. And it's possible, unless AOC can beat him out. And I think AOC can beat him out now that AOC's got at least 1 year up underneath his belt. If these are the two quarterbacks that we're going to have to run with, I want AOC as the starter. And that's how I feel about it. But, Christian Wilkins is, it's a good pickup, man. I don't know if he's worth that much money. I don't know if he's worth that much. But then again, the way they fluctuate the salary cap around nowadays, how much more that they've gotten added to the salary cap. These guys just throw money around like it's nothing. Losing Josh Jacobs is going to hurt. We're going to have to bolster up that running back room. Everybody boasts about Zamir White. He did well last year at the half end of the season when Josh Jacobs wasn't available. Can he do it for a full year? Can he average more than 3.5 yards per carry? Because to me, it seems like that's where we get stuck. Is that we get a running back and he winds up getting stuck in that 3 yard to 3.5 yard per carry category. You can't win games that way. You got to average at least 4 to 5 yards a fucking carry to be dominant. That's the way it's got to be. And you got to be able to do it in between the tackles. You got to be able to do it around the ends. And, that's my style running back. I think that would be everybody's ideal running back, is somebody who can at least average 4 yards per carry. I don't think that's too much to ask when you look at the premier elite backs in the league. That's what they're doing. 4 yards a carry. So, these are the moves that we've made so far. Now, hopefully we can make some more headroom. I'm pretty much considering everything that we have read in the last 8-9 hours as fact. This is where everybody's going. So Josh Jacobs is going to Green Bay. We're receiving Gardner Minshew. And we're retaining Belial Nichols. Oh yeah, Jermaine Illuminor got his ass fired. Fuck yeah, dude. I really wish I had an applause button for my soundboard. But I don't even think I've got one. As a matter of fact, I do. I just have to boot it up here right quick. You guys got to hear. Jermaine Illuminor. The fucking guy. And I know there's a lot of people out there who are real bummed about that dude leaving. But over here at the Raider Critique, we can't motherfucking stand Jermaine Illuminor. And we are extremely fucking happy that Jermaine Illuminor, that fucking farting piece of shit, is gone. And I am so fucking happy that motherfucker's out of here. I cannot stand him. Jermaine Illuminor, you need to walk the plank. You're a bum. And I'm glad you're gone. I'm glad somebody else decided to pick you up. Because now at least I don't have to bitch and complain about you every single damn time that I see you get a holding call or you miss your assignment. Thank you. Thank you so much. You have been fired. I've always wanted you to go anyway. So, man, thanks so much for taking Jermaine Illuminor off our hands. Because I really did not want to see that dude in a Raider uniform any longer. And I'm definitely celebrating over here. I am definitely celebrating over here. With a slow clap. I'm so glad that he's gone. Because Jermaine Illuminor, you belong in the bathroom. And I'm glad that we let you leave. Now, I don't know who in the hell you wound up going to, and I don't care. As long as you're not a Raider, can't fucking stand Jermaine Illuminor. So, at least that was some good news. That was something I can be happy about today. Jermaine Illuminor is not a Raider, but I guess we're going with Gardner Minshew. And Josh Jacobs is going to be a Packer. It's really and Christian Wilkins is a Raider, exactly. So I mean, really, man, I mean, that's where we're at. How do you guys feel about everything? I'm gonna go over here into the chat, see how you guys are doing. What's going on, Aunt? Sign Alvaro Martinez from Miami. And I think I've already shouted everybody out on Captain Raphael and Fibro. I see about 4 of y'all in here, man. But I do appreciate y'all for jumping in and just kind of venting with me and just, you know, hanging out with me right here on this Monday evening, March 11th, to go over free agency. And I really wish that, you know, there was really something else I could report on. You know, what do you guys think? What do you guys think our next move should be? Do we go after a running back in free agency? You know? I mean, I guess, are we going after a quarterback in the draft at this moment, at this point? You know, what would be the next move that y'all would make? Because me, offensive line definitely needs to be addressed. Offensive line needs to be addressed. And I don't even know who's in the free agents for offensive line. But now that that worthless ass piece of shit Jermaine Illuminor's gone, we probably should be looking at some offensive linemen. Now Robert Hunt, he left from Miami and he went to Carolina. I mean, there's not very many left over, man. I mean, there's a lot of people, but nobody who really sticks out. I mean, we probably are going to draft a lineman at some point in this draft. At some point in this draft, we are going to probably use one of our top 3 picks to pick up a lineman. Because we decided that we're going to keep Andre James. And we decided that we're going to keep Dylan Parham at guard. And I'll tell you what, man, looking at the free agents for offensive linemen, I mean, here, let me boot it up, man, so you guys can actually see it. Let me boot it up. David Bakhtiari from Green Bay, he's 32. Laken Tomlin, 32. Charles Leno, 32. You see the growing trend here? Tyron Smith, 33. Andreas Pete, 30. You know what I mean? There ain't a single motherfucker. You finally get down here to Connor Williams, and he's what, 26? You know, your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, your top 8 that are left by supposed sports track here, your top 8 that are left are over the age of 30. I mean, is there a name on here that jumps out to any of you? John Feliciano? Yeah, we had him before. Connor McGovern? New York Jets? I mean, like, this is every offensive lineman available for free agency right now. You know what I mean? And these are the ones who have been signed. Jump back over here to the chat, see what you guys are saying. Oh, we got on 6 and they're talking shit about Dustin again. I dropped the link to you, Afakasi, man. You want to go look in your Instagram. But actually, I'm running my audio a little weird. I actually can't hear nothing that's going on from my computer, so I don't even know, like, when I hit the buttons for the soundboard. I don't get it either. I mean, I figured that if we were actually trying to make a pool and have Davante Adams and keep Davante Adams happy, we weren't going to let go of Josh Jacobs and then pick up Gardner Minshew. I mean, I don't get it either, but, like, even looking at offensive linemen, man, there is nobody in here of interest that I would even draw a flyer on. And I think we're going to draft a couple big bodies for our lines early in the draft. See, and that makes sense. Especially looking at the free agency, we're going to have to. There's nobody in here, man. No, I mean, what? There's really, like, there's no big names left. But look at how much money everybody had to drop on the big names. I mean, Robert Hunt went for fucking $100 million. You know, you see what I mean? All these dudes got paid. Well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of these cats got a pretty good bag. You know, 2 years, $6 million. This was pretty much like your cheapest one right here. This one in Okafor. You know, there's still John Simpson. They ain't even fucking listed his contract details yet. But we had John Simpson at one point. So yeah, I think we're going to have to go offensive line. We're going to have to go offensive line in the draft. We need to trade up. Do we trade up? We need to trade up. We need to trade up if we expect to get a quarterback, but if we ain't going for a quarterback, we're probably going to go offensive line. You watch. You watch. We go offensive line if we fucking pick at 13. I just got this funny feeling that this is how we're going to run it. We're going to run with what we got. I just hope we make some big moves. Give me a Joe Mixon. You know, give me something to actually get, like, really stoked about. You know, Christian Wilkins, yeah, hey, he's a great player. He's a great player. He was great last year. But it's only been 1 year. I don't know if I would have gave him that much with him only having 1 year like that. But he was fucking outstanding last year. Like, so, I mean, just depends on which Christian Wilkins we get, on how good of a pickup that's going to be. But man, it just, I don't. If I had to grade what we've done so far in the tampering period on a grade from F to A+, I would give us a C+. So what about y'all, Raider Nation? On that grading scale, and I want to see everybody spam it in the chat. What would you guys give our tampering period so far from F to A+? Don't everybody type at once. There's only 6 of you in here. Or at least 6 of you watching anyway. If no trade up, the O-line, it's the O-line and then just signed Wilkins and maybe a DB. And you know, they only gave Isaiah Pola-Mao the unrestricted franchise tag, which means he's only getting paid $915,000, but that leaves teams to be able to offer him more money to go play for them. So I want you guys to let that sit in too. Only 2 years, and that cat has actually been balling out for us, and we could possibly lose him too if our front office, you know, didn't play that card right. Because I think they undervalued him. I think I would have gave him more than $915,000. I think I probably would have signed him to another 2-year deal, to be honest with you. I don't think it would have been that much to keep him retained. but we need something to build up in the defense. Well, dude, we've been building defense. We've been building defense and building defense and building defense. And yes, I understand that has been our Achilles heel in the past, but we're watching our offense dwindle down to where what our only weapon's going to be Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. That to me is eye-opening. Our offense is still suffering, but our offense had over $100 million dumped into them last year. Everybody, I got a guest over here. Let me bring him in. I don't know if I can hear you. Let me check. Let me change.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
There we go. There you go. I got you now. I hope I'm not echoing now. That's the only key. But yeah, I've been kind of running this a little bit differently.
What's going on, gang?
So what do you think, man? I mean, what would you give us from an A to an F on the tampering period?
Well, it's only just been the first day of it, so it's still too early for me. But look, I'll start with the negatives. It sucks to see Josh Jacobs go. Once a Raider, always a Raider. I, for one, appreciate his services that he's given us. I mean, for him to be with us for 5 years and to give us 3,000+ yard seasons. I can't remember the stat at the top of my head for how many touchdowns he got, but for the most part, when you look at how his career had ended, it was a success. Whatever way you want to cook it or you want to cut it. And that, to me, it makes it mind-boggling for me that you got cats out here disrespecting Josh Jacobs because he wants to get paid. And this is the only time he's going to earn said contract. I mean, we weren't going to pay him how much Green Bay is willing to pay him. People are talking about he should take a discount. Well, put yourself in his
Would
booth.
you, if somebody offered
you were a professional athlete and you have one chance to make as much money as what he did, are you going to stay for a lot less, with a lot less security and a lot less money, just for the sake of loyalty? Or are you going to think about your family and go with the money, a once-in-a-lifetime chance, because he's not going to get another bag. He could have 2-3 more productive seasons in the league. He's not going to get the same money because the tread on his wheels will be narrowed down to the point where he's considered, too old to pay. So I'd rather look back and look at his career as a whole rather than talk shit about him and be like, oh, why didn't he stay, blah, 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 blah. And there's cats out here trying to play the "we told you so" card. Well, these cats are the same ones that said, what, he's a future Hall of Famer in the next coming of Marcus Allen. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you really told us so, didn't you?
Well, look,
anyway.
For anybody who really wanted to keep him, you guys, we all know that the writing was on the wall when Josh McDaniels disrespected him. Right. Even though we got rid of Josh McDaniels, because of their decisiveness in wanting to sign him to a long-term deal, that's why he's not here anymore. Ultimately, they had the opportunity to sign him. They could have signed him for $13, $14 million a year, but they elected not to. Now you got a team like Green Bay who's more than willing to pay him $12.5 million a year. $12.5 million guaranteed for that first year. It's a no fucking brainer, dude. I'm taking the money 100% of the time too.
All right. I don't blame him one bit. Like I said, this is his only chance he's going to get to make that much money. He's never going to get another chance. So I do not blame him one bit. But anyways, once a Raider, once a Raider, always a Raider. I appreciate your services. All the best for your future endeavors. Now, for the other moves we did, Christian Wilkins. I do like the move. It's a little bit pricey, but at the same time, what we're paying him for is we're paying him to be that very good / top tier defensive tackle we've been looking for since we haven't really had a very good defensive tackle interior guy since the days of Tommy Kelly and Richard Seymour. It's been that long. Or since the days of C.O. Moore, allegedly one of the great defensive tackles of all time. Yeah, right. Know your Raider history before you talk shit. Anyways, I do like the move. 9 sacks. That's a good stat to have last season. And it seems to be like he's a guy who's just starting to hit his prime. And that's why we're paying him big money. We're banking that he's going to continue to at least trend the same or trend upwards. I don't know, but like, it's good to finally have a guy in the interior that we're bringing in that we can consider to be pretty fucking good, and hopefully he plays that way now that he's a Raider. So I do appreciate the move, and I'm going to be looking at Tyree to be able to show more progression, having the likes of Crosby, who's all elite, Malcolm Kuntz, who's coming into his own, and a guy like Christian Wilkinson on the inside. So that's going to help his development, and I want to see more. I'm going to be paying close attention to him next season and see what his progression is like if you're going to keep him on interior. As for that other guy, what's his name? Minshew? Gardner Minshew?
Garner Minshew. Ex-Jaguar, Colt, and Eagle.
Jet. Wasn't he a Jet?
Eagle. I believe he was an Eagle.
Eagle, wherever he's from. Knowingly, I haven't knowingly watched too much of him play, so I'm not going to...
He's a journeyman quarterback. Literally
right,
a journeyman quarterback who he got his... He was able to start in Jacksonville when Blake Bortles pretty much fell apart.
Right. I saw the stats for that season, and it was a pretty fair... It was not too bad from the stat perspective. Like I said, I haven't watched him play, but I do know he did make the Pro Bowl last season, maybe as an alternate, so that is at least something. So it doesn't seem like we broke the bank for him. To have a guy who can compete, maybe possibly start or a backup job. I hope we draft someone. I still believe we will. But a guy we can bring in the door who I have a little bit more faith than I have with the Cats from last year, especially Brian Hoyer.
Yeah. Hey, I'll say this, man. At least it's not Jimmy G. It's not Brian Hoyer. Absolutely fucking not, though. I can't stand either one of those fucking goddamn Patriots. They should have never been here to begin with. And it's all Josh McDaniels' fault why either one of those guys even got to don our colors. And, right. I mean, what happened to Russell Wilson, though, man? Russell Wilson, everybody was talking about Russell Wilson, especially, this guy.
That legendary bum, Dustin.
And that motherfucker right there was talking mad shit about how we needed to go get Russell Wilson. I think a lot of people actually really thought and felt like we should have went and got Russell Wilson because he would have played on such a minimal deal because Denver had to pay him $39 million. Since Denver, they're also like really the legendary bums when it comes to it because that deal really hurt their team. It hurt their team for the next 10 years, and I couldn't be happier. But right. I would have loved to have pulled the card on him, but dude, we didn't even pull a flyer on him. Is there a reason why you would think that we didn't want him? I mean, because a lot of people they forget his turmoil in Seattle. How about you remind everybody about what it was like for Russell Wilson in Seattle?
Right. I mean, word has it we weren't even looking. There was an interest from his camp, but there was no interest from our camp, which brings it back to what, I don't like to debate hypotheticals and salute to you all lies. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people, including myself, because I was brought onto other panels, spend a lot of the energy debating on whether he's a good fit or not. Why are we all this debating for Russell Wilson's going to be for naught if we don't even sign him? Here we are. We didn't even sign him. All that, is he a good fit? Is a bad fit?
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
We didn't even talk to him.
We
didn't even talk to him. We're like, yeah,
we didn't even talk to him. But I believe a lot of why I was against making a move towards Russell Wilson, because I know he's been a productive quarterback, and I know at one point in time he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and I actually watched a lot of his play early days. I actually watched him getting drafted live, and then earning the starting job from Matt Flynn back in 2012. That's right. But it was a red flag for me. It's just number one, whenever a team moves on from a quarterback and they are not set with their replacement, they have nobody who's a guy that they are comfortable with moving forward, because Denver doesn't have that, then that's always a red flag for me. And I believe Seattle was in the same boat. They didn't have a bona fide replacement, but they were willing to move on from him anyways. And then you hear all the stories about how he doesn't really command the locker room respect. I mean, you heard guys like Marshawn
No,
Lynch,
not a
and
leader.
Richard Sherman, you know, having very disparaging words about him. And there's been others as well. When his time has been up in Seattle, when his time has been up in Denver, you've had no former players coming out and like clamoring for him to come back, you know, or giving him their endorsement. You know what I'm saying? And then he's seeing the footage from when he was with the Broncos, with like players snickering about him on the behind his back, players not hesitating to argue with him or talk down on him, and then just walking away without giving him a chance to retort. You've seen the footage of him being like, you know, all this corny ass stuff that he's saying and doing, and you know, out at halftime trying to high five his teammates on their way to the locker room. For the most part, they're just walking past him. They don't even want to borrow him. I mean, read the room. Tell me he doesn't command the respect without telling me he doesn't command the respect. You know what I'm saying? So that was always my case with why I didn't want Russell Wilson in the door. But I'm not going to cry spilt milk now. We didn't even look at him. So it's like...
Yeah, it's just like...
Legendary bum, Justin.
He doesn't know how to read the room either, and neither does his buddy Autism. So, I mean, you know, it seems to be kind of typical. Now, when it comes to, like, Telesco, because I think that's probably my biggest issue is Telesco at this moment, because we just watched Jerry Tillery walk out the door, but we re-signed Belial Nichols. Now, is it just me, or did we not
didn't.
see shit
you
out of
saying
Belial
that,
Nichols?
Sorry to interrupt you, but we didn't re-sign Belial Nichols.
I could have swore that's exactly what I read, that Belial Nichols
He's gone to Arizona.
Oh, he's going to Arizona. So we lost both of them then. Oh, well, I feel a little bit better about it then. Because at least fucking, he didn't get, Jerry Tillery is not being replaced by some fucking dude who didn't really do shit. What's going on, James? Right. Because Belial Nichols didn't do shit. Like, we wasted a shit ton of money and gave Chicago a bunch of money for that bum to come over here. And he didn't do shit. So that still leaves Leonard Williams on the board, right? Or is he gone too?
I'm not sure about Leonard Williams, but I try to bring that to your attention when you're talking about Belial Nichols before, that he's signed on with the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't think Leonard Williams is available either.
I buy Belial, like, whatever, you know what I mean? Jerry Tillery, even though I didn't mind the guy, and I liked his aggression at times, I thought he was maybe too aggressive at times, but like for the most part, I thought he was okay, but at the same time, he's just okay to me. Am I going to cry spilt milk over Jerry Tillery? Not really. I mean, I'd rather have Christian Wilkins and maybe, look, I'm hoping Tyreek can take that next step and re-sign that Adam Butler guy. I really like what I saw from him last season. I liked what I saw from Butler more so than what I did from Tillery and Belial, so I'm not going to cry spilt milk over either of those two guys.
Yeah, well, we saw, Leonard Williams, when he got re-signed by Seattle.
Okay.
Then he's a defensive end anyway. So let's look here. The next defensive tackle, DJ Reader, 29 years old. Dude, Yannick Ngakoue. He's a defensive end, though.
I think he'd still be salty with Patrick Graham moving on from him, because it was his call to move on. Part of his call, them moving on from him and getting Chandler Jones, remember?
Right.
So I don't think he'll want to come back.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, there's a lot of defensive tackles and defensive ends in here. I mean, we could, ultimately pick up another one out of free agency just to stop from having to draft one. Fletcher Cox, but see, he's 33, dude. Like, there's some young guys in here. Chase Young's in here, but he's a defensive end. Like, this would actually take some, like, deep analysis to go over all these cats to see who would be a good fit. But I'm not looking at anybody over the age of 30.
No.
At this point.
Well,
Cleve Farrell, that makes perfect sense. Cleve Farrell's in fucking free agency.
But at this point, we're only looking for depth at defensive end. Like, we're pretty set there with our starters, right?
Right. I mean, I would say we're set at our starters. I like Malcolm Kuntz.
Me too.
I think Malcolm Kuntz should probably be the starter.
As far as I'm concerned, he is until proven otherwise.
Right. I don't see any reason to move on from him. He did such an excellent job last year. So what's the point of even going to go and try to pick up another defensive end? At this moment, when we already know Malcolm Kuntz, we just need to get somebody behind him who could be somewhat productive.
That's the only thing we'd be looking for is just depth guys. And so by that token, I don't think we're going to be breaking the bank on depth guys at end. We might even draft an end. I could see that possibly happening in the mid to late rounds. I see us probably looking through at the draft for a running back if we don't get one in free agency. I mean, I probably prefer drafting one if I'm going to be honest, and taking a flyer and seeing what they can do, like maybe in the mid rounds too. I'm not sure what the running back class is like this year, but I said it throughout last season that I believe whatever happens with Zamir White by the end of the season, that we're drafting another running back. And since we've moved on from Josh Jacobs, we've got Zamir, Amir, and those other.
Well, I guess we're gonna get to find out if Dustin and Ozzy's fucking predictions are right. To get to see if fucking Sincere, Zamir, and Amir can get 1,600 fucking yards together by running back committee, because that's what it looks like that we're going to be doing with what we got going on right now. It looks like running back committee to me.
Look, I never minded a running back by committee. My thing at that point in time is like, you're really gonna prefer to run with a running back by committee with a running back by committee that hasn't proven anything. That was my argument over a guy who's just coming up an all elite season in Josh Jacobs. Like if we're gonna, I don't mind a running back by committee as long as it's we've got some guys that we can have some trust and faith in. Now that Zamir has proven that he can play the last quarter of last season, like I'm not willing to ride off into the sunset with him being our starter. I still think he needs to show it more consistently before I can say yes, he's the guy. But I still believe we do need another guy in the room that could push him or provide him some competition. I think that the draft is a good place to do that. Get a young running back who could possibly, with these running backs that come in, like there's no reason why they can't contribute immediately. We've seen it in years past. Like Josh Jacobs did it immediately. Darren McFadden pretty much did it immediately. Latavius Murray, he did it immediately. So
that's the thing is like these kids are built different too. So that's why I'm more apt to draft a running back and getting that 4 years out of him, and then end up letting him go like we did with Josh Jacobs. We didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but ultimately the reason why we don't have Jacobs anymore is because we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. And I really just don't understand, because that's our bread and butter. It's what we've always been really good at, is running the ball, especially running in between the tackles. And Josh Jacobs exuberated that type of player. So I just didn't understand why we wanted to move on from him, but we fucking should have gave him the bag when Josh McDaniels decided not to give him the bag. And I don't understand. We should be looking for a fucking quarterback. And at this moment now, we're going to be diverted from looking for that quarterback because we have other positions of need that we have to fill. And we made that for ourselves.
Sorry.
I'm done.
But that's always part of the off-season free agency kind of phase, you know what I mean? Like that happens every year. Like especially with free agency, new holes open and then new holes get closed, so to say. I mean, defensive tackle, like that's been a hole, but like it looks like we've filled that up now. Quarterback, we've kind of filled the gap. We've got a guy who's been decent, but like, is he the guy we're riding off into the sunset with? I don't think so until proven otherwise. But this is only day one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've still got plenty of free agency to go, and there's still plenty of free agents, to my knowledge, that are out there. So, yeah, and I'm right there with you, all eyes on G. Like, and especially the hypocrisy of some of these cats who are coming out and being the loudest in the room with their "I told you so," when they're the same cats who are saying, "Oh, he's going to be our future Hall of Famer. He's going to be the next coming of Marcus Allen." 1 minute, and then you're going all the way to the other side and saying this, that, and the third about him. Yeah, okay.
By the way, he leaves the team third in overall franchise rushing yards. So there you go. He finished
Right.
third, and he wasn't even here but 5 years. So that should tell you the production that he gave.
Right. But the thing is that like, it's like I said, I don't understand when a player's career is over with the Raiders, when they're done and they moved on. Are you going to look back? I'm the kind of guy who I prefer to look back and say, right, now that he's finished, let's look at your career as a whole as a Raider. Were you productive as a Raider? Yes. Did you have more good seasons, and were you for the most part a good guy on the field as well as off the field? Yeah. So we're going to cut a man down because he wants to get his bag.
No, I love the dude, man.
For the most part, a great Raider tenure. When you got guys like fucking, we just released Bilal Nichols, and these cats aren't saying a peep.
Look, it really doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that Josh Jacobs would catch that hate, because look at what the fuck Derek Carr got. All right, and Derek Carr was the sweetest fucking guy that you could ever possibly have as your quarterback, who loved the fan base, loved the franchise, loved the team, loved everything about being a Raider, and just wanted to do whatever the hell he could, and they still shit on him. So it doesn't surprise me any. It doesn't surprise me any at all. We've got a lot of wishy-washy people in this fan base, and we let them all in when we decided to move to Vegas. It's just all it was, man. What it is we got a lot of people out there running their fucking mouths about this shit when they really know nothing about it.
Well, the same cats who are talking about Theo Moore being the great defensive tackle he was. Now, Jamarcus Russell was the blame for our 2005 offensive woes when he was still in college.
Right.
You're going to talk shit, you better know your Raider history. Know it well.
I mean, it's not even, you know, you got to know your history, but it's not only that, but you got to know the mindset here. You know, and if you don't know the mindset, at least be willing to learn. But no, a lot of people just come in here and just start spewing off shit. You know what I mean? In all actuality, it's I'm not going to tell you to go away, because you're going to just wind up being a Raider fan anyway. But at least learn. Stop making me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Every time you speak. It's just like, oh God, what the fuck does this retard have to say? You know what I mean? It's just, what else am I going to have to read? And I understand everybody loves speculation. Speculation's great, don't get me wrong, but there's too many content creators out there going, my sources, my sources, my sources. And it is. And it's getting put out there, all right? Bigger YouTubers are subtly hitting these cats where it hurts. Because you can always go back. You can always watch each other's shit from way back in the day to see what we say. The receipts are always there. You guys can't live that down. The only thing you can do is apologize for it and move on. You know, and if you're dudes who are Jets fans, posing as Raider fans, who happen to have the most followers and subscribers on YouTube for Raider content, and you got a dude like the GOAT coming after you, yeah, bro, I'd be scared too. Because the GOAT's real as fuck. He's definitely pretty damn real there, Mitchell. And we all know what you did to Mikey, bitch. It's only fitting that karma comes back its way and gets you too. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then there's a few of you other cats out there, man. You guys just keep doing what you're doing. A lot of y'all produce some really good content. You know what I mean? Afakasi, Raiders World Order, you guys produce really good content. Pharaoh, Al's Ghost, you know, when you're not jumping on Death Star Report, fucking, and even when you are on Death Star Report, you're the only reason to watch. But yeah, you're the only reason to watch is when you show up over there. So at least they get some views from me when you're there, because you got some damn good views. You guys keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, Raider Alex, I really dig that guy too, man. He's at least breaking it out. Samoan Raider, you know, I don't mean to name drop, but these are like your real motherfuckers, man. Your Raider Johns, your Samoan Raiders, your Pharaoh. Pharaoh's pretty damn real about it. Now I'll even shout out JT. You know, don't agree with all of his takes, but JT keeps it real. You know what I mean? Luna. Love all you guys, man. I know I have been fucking going over there and sharing on y'all's channel and whatnot, but I mean, I just been kind of just doing my thing over here by myself, and ever since I brought in my co-host, it doesn't seem like y'all want to kick it with me anyway. So it's all good. You know what I mean? But you guys already know I'm thumping with Earn. I'm gonna thump with Earn. I love Earn. Earn's my brother, man. You know what I mean? And once he finally gets everything straight on his end, he'll be back. And we'll be kicking off the 2024 season, hopefully, with more of an upside than, you know, what I've expressed here this evening.
But you're still going to be walking motherfuckers on the plank, right?
And one motherfucker who's not going to be walking the plank is Jermaine Illuminor. Thank God that motherfucker is gone. Man, finally. Hey, and that's something I can be happy about. I'm glad that dude's gone.
Right.
I mean, I know none of y'all, even in the chat, feel the same way I do about Jermaine Illuminor. That dude was a bum. That dude was Khalif Barnes 2.0.
Who would you prefer, Khalif or Jermaine?
Khalif. I would have taken
say
Khalif Barnes over Jermaine Illuminor any day, because at least Khalif Barnes, you knew he was going to fuck up. You know what I mean? It wasn't a matter of if, it was when. Jermaine Illuminor, he would be like great fucking 3 games, and then he would suck the next 4 and have like 20 penalties. You know? Like, that guy right there, man, he was so wishy-washy, but then again, I would have rather had him than, say, Gummy Bear Trent Brown. You know? So, I mean, Jermaine Illuminor wasn't all that bad, but, you know, anybody would put him ahead of Trent Brown.
Well, I'd beg to differ on that one. I'd put Trent Brown from a play perspective in front of any other right tackle we've had for the last 12 years. The only problem with Brown was the trying to get him on the field, and also the off the field, like, health issues, whatever it may be. But
he wasn't conditioned.
From my perspective, I thought, like, from a production, like, when you watched Trent Brown on the field, he was very good as a right. It was the best right tackle we've had in the last 13, 14 years. But with that said, like, I mean, look, I'm not going to cry spilt milk over Illumina. Thank you for your services, but hopefully it's Sam Mumford's time to shine and make that right tackle position his own, right?
Exactly. We've had Mumford, and he's done well. He's just been sitting back there waiting for his opportunity to start. It's time to move him on up.
Let's go.
You know,
he showed he can do it last season, and
exactly.
It's funny to me because he seems to be such a, like, whenever I'm hearing cats talk about, like, our offensive line room on the live scene, he for the most part, he's a forgotten man. Like, people seem to forget. They don't mention Thayer Mumford. I hear more cats talking about Dalton Wagner, that undrafted free agent. Well, hang on a second. Are you guys forgetting about Mumford? Like, a guy who was a 7th rounder, a guy who, when he's been given his opportunity to take the field, he's actually been very good considering where we got him in the 7th round. He's a guy who's only showed progression since we drafted him. Whenever he's gotten his set opportunity, he's a guy who came in at left tackle when Colt Miller was injured, and he did an exceptional job keeping Khalil Mack at bay that game against the Chargers. And Khalil Mack went from having 5 sacks in a game against us earlier that season to having a goose egg.
Against Jermaine Illuminor, by the way.
One-on-one.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Hey, and he needs his due, bro. Like, let's give him the reins and let's give him the job to lose. He's been here. He's been in the system. He's going to be the one who knows it the best.
Develop 3rd season. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. Why not? You know, I mean, that's a good idea. We're going to have to get depth behind him. And maybe get, you know, I would say get somebody in here who's going to compete for the starting job and test him, you know. But, yeah, I'm not going to throw Thayer Mumford out of bed. And here's the thing. I've been guilty of not mentioning Thayer Munford. I was too busy mentioning motherfuckers like Van Rotten and Grossu and all these other bums that we were bringing in when we had the rotating offensive line last year. You remember when our offensive line was completely depleted and we had to piece together that offensive line, and Thayer Munford was the leading right tackle? I believe he was the leading right tackle, the starting right tackle that game. And that offensive line did great. We had Alex Bars in there. It was a complete different flop up on everything.
Was that the Giants game you're talking about?
I don't know if it was the Giants game, but I know they did extremely well just for us to flop it up again the next week and completely fall on our face. I can't remember which one it was, but it was when Antonio Pierce was the actual coach. It wasn't when McDummy was still coaching.
Well, we played the Giants and the Jets, and we had consecutive wins against the New York teams in consecutive weeks. And then I think we lost the next game, maybe to the Chiefs. I'm not too sure, but it was definitely glaringly better when Antonio Pierce took the reins, our offensive line play. That's for damn sure. I mean, the run blocking early in the season was absolutely atrocious. Like, especially, I never forgot that Bills game and how absolutely terrible it was. Like, I had never seen run blocking that bad in my time as a Raider fan, and I've seen us had some pretty shaky offensive line lineups in my time, stemming back from 2009. But I'd never seen run blocking that bad.
No, and thank God we got rid of that dude too, man. We got rid of most of that whole coaching staff. And shout out to Deuce Gruden for keeping his job. Shout out to Deuce. Deuce has done made it. This is his third regime that he's made it. So we'll give it to Deuce. We'll applaud Deuce. But and hey, we'll just see exactly Raider Nation on what's going on, man. We're gonna jump on out of here because there's really nothing else to talk about. You guys can go back and rewatch it if you missed the whole damn thing. I mean, I'm not doing anything but reacting to pretty much the moves that we've already made or supposedly are going to make, because that's really where in the fraction of the year that we're in. You know, I ran in a little bit about Belial Nichols, even though knowing that, well, now that I know, his ass went to Arizona. So I'm not too fucking displeased about Jerry Tillery now. But to me, that makes me raise my eyebrow about Telesco, about holding grudges, because Jerry Tillery was doing well over here. He was.
All right.
Dude, I can't remember the last time we got 2 sacks out of a defensive lineman in how many fucking years I've been a Raider fan. It's been years.
Are you talking about defensive tackle?
Defensive tackle, actually getting some type of pressure up the middle. Because even though Jerry Tillery might not have got a lot of sacks, he pressured the quarterback a lot.
I think Phylon, I think Solomon Thomas, I think Quentin Jefferson went over that. And that's just the recent history. Adam Butler, I think, how many did he have? I think he had 3 or 4 last season.
Right.
You know, like I said, look, I'm not saying Jerry Tillery is bad, but like at the same time, he's not a cat that I'm going to be crying spilt milk over. I mean, we can do better even with our rotational guys. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. But that fucking position group has been such an issue for us, from Maurice Hurst to PJ Hall to
Jihad Ward. Eddie Vander what?
Eddie Vanderdoes. Eddie Vanderdoes. Whatever the fuck his name was. Fucking bums. That's all we signed at the defensive line fucking for the past like 8 years has been bums. Nobody who's
look
really
at all
like
that draft picks too. Look at how many draft picks we've taken in the last 2 years alone. We've taken 4, and if you want to count Tyree Wilson, 5 cats. And none of them have panned out yet. You know,
well,
on the flip side of that, we've brought in Christian Wilkins, right? We may have finally addressed it. So,
right. I mean, I think, you know, when you miss so many times in the draft, shit, you might as well go free agent. It's about time we pulled the trigger and went free agent for defensive tackle instead of trying to, you know, have some homegrown talent. We got lucky with Max. We got lucky with Max. But PJ Hall, what is he in the UFL now? Maurice Hurst, he's a free agent, you know, working on a 1-year deal with his current team. So, I mean, and then all the other cats, hell, Clint Farrell, not even getting an offer. Which, that doesn't surprise me any.
He'll get a chance somewhere. He's just a good rotational guy at best. That's all Cleve Ferrell is. A good role rotational guy and nothing.
He'll probably go to the Colts.
There's a place for that on a team, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not what you draft.
Giant.
But anyway.
He'll go to some scrub-ass team, but I mean, we've missed so many times at defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, we hit on Mac. We hit on Max. You know, I don't remember anybody else outside of that we really hit on. Danico Autry was decent.
Are you talking about defensive line?
Yeah, defensive line. Danico Autry was decent. You know what I mean? But
what's the name? Justin Ellis was okay. He was pretty good. It was decent for a while. Justin Ellis. Stacey McGee, I think, is a guy we took a late flyer on. I mean, you know, decent rotational guy, and salute to you, Gravy. I see you in the building. I see you in the feed. But yeah, you know, you're right to your point, especially drafting interior, which I mean, here's the names at the top of my list, top of my head. We've got Nestor Silvera still has time. Byron Young, Torrey Wilson, if you want to throw him in there. Neil Farrell off our roster. Malcolm Butler, or is it Matthew Butler, languishing on the practice squad. Probably won't be a Raider next season, but we'll see. Eddie Vanderdoes, G. Hardward, PJ Hall. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just recent history. You know what I'm saying?
That's like, just recent
plenty
history.
Of other cats. Trayvon Hester's another guy. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Another wasted opportunity. So I'm happy about this though. Let's go defensive line in free agency. We're actually making a different step than what we've done in years past, so that's something to be optimistic about.
Right.
I could say that.
We found a guy who's just hitting what should be his prime, and we're paying him to be one of the better and a good player on that defensive tackle line, and hopefully he proves to be that way.
Yo, I'm interested to see what we're going to do next. I'm very interested to see in the next video, am I going to be actually smiling, or am I going to be ripping my fucking hair out with the next move we make? That's what I'm wondering. Or are we going to just not do anything else? That's possible too. Could we just be sitting until the draft? You know, we'll find out.
It's day one. It's day one. There's going to be players that are going to be wanting to play for Antonio Pierce, and I'm excited to see how the rest of free agency pans out. So I'm going to hold fast, see how it all plays out. Let the cards fall where they may, and I'm like you, man. I'm not going to talk about let's get this guy, let's get that guy. I'm going to wait to see who we have and who we don't have, and then talk about it rather than
who's available. Because expect it, Raider Nation. All these free agents are going to start flying off the board real quick in the next 2 to 3 days.
Anthony?
And it's literally going to be slim pickings. It's already slim pickings in certain positions already. It's really coming down to the nitty gritty. And these next 2 days are going to be absolutely crazy.
Right. It's weird how they even have this tampering period, right? Because it's like a lot of the marquee guys, they're already almost, say, official. It's like they might as well just make this the start of free agency, right? This happens year in, year out, where marquee players are gone during the tampering period and they don't even make it to day one.
Right.
What's the point?
What's the point? You know, and here is my assumption and hypothesis on this whole ordeal. They're doing everything they can to keep eyes on football. And, you know, they really are money hungry, and it's really goes to show. You look at how much the salary cap has gone up year by year by year for every single solitary team. That is because of us dumping all the money into this product. Everything we buy that's NFL affiliated is dumping more money into their pockets to where they are able to push all this money to these players, to push all this money to these coaches, to push all of this. And in order to keep that money going, what do they got to do? They got to keep it alive, man. That tampering period really did stop that real dead spot that happens in the off season, that real big, long, drastic dead spot. in between the combine and free agency. You know what I mean? So I understand why they're doing it. It keeps us on our toes. That's for sure, especially when it's only fucking day one. It ain't even really free agency yet, and we already had this many moves happen.
To my point, you might as well make today your official day one. There might as well not be a tampering period. You know what I'm saying? Like this has been happening since I've been a fan of football. Since 2009, I see these guys, these top tier players, already pretty much like it's not official. Like the news coming out that they will sign, but like 95% of the time, where the news comes out that these players will sign once day one, the best way I can put it, it's like, well, what's the point?
Right. The best way I can put it is kind of like how college players, or high school players, when they commit to the college that they're about to go to. That's pretty much what they're doing here, except for now it's on a pro level. I mean, stupid if you ask me. It makes just as much sense as Pro Bowl flag football. And that's real fucking shit. What are we playing the Pro Bowl for if we're playing flag football? Like, what's the point?
I wouldn't know because I haven't watched a Pro Bowl. The last Pro Bowl I watched, I believe, was 2015 when I saw Derek Carr throw like a running 50, 60-yard bomb into the end zone. I think that was 2015. That's how long ago it's been since I watched a Pro Bowl. Ever since then, it's just not worth my time.
What's going on, Cool Cat?
You can see a few people in the chat. Anthony, Gravy, James, All Eyes. See you, brothers. Cool Cat.
But yeah, it's good to see everybody in here, man. And thanks for your support, man. It is definitely greatly appreciated when you guys come in here and you check out the live content, especially when I got my brothers on here with me. And every fucking one of y'all always seem to show up, man. And for that, I greatly appreciate it, because without y'all, there is no Raider Critique and there is no show. And, you know, hey, without the Raiders making dumb fucking moves, then I guess I wouldn't be me and I wouldn't be on here making, you know, all these damn accusations on this camera. But that's besides the point. I get to do it for all of you, and that's what makes it very fun. So, you know, we're just over here bullshitting, and we're going to go ahead and get on out of here, man. But if it's your first time here, don't let it be your last, man. Like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications for more Las Vegas Raiders content right here on the Raider Critique, where we tell the truth with intensity, and we don't drink the corporate Kool-Aid. And before we get out of here, we're going to get down. Me and Afakasi on Afakasi's channel, we're going to jump back into some fucking Tecmo Super Bowl 3. We're going to go in. I want to redeem my fucking loss that I lost to this cat. So we're going to be doing that on Afakasi's channel. I say we're probably going to be doing it on Friday, right? We're going to go Friday morning or what?
Yeah, say less. Let's do it.
So, yeah, here in America, we got this shit called fucking spring forward and fall back. It's called daylight savings time. We already went through that. So if you guys did get this notification early with the wrong time on it, it's not. It's my fault. I should have told Afakasi that we sprung forward, because, you know, everywhere else in the fucking world, they don't do that shit. We're the only country that does it.
No, we do it as well. You
guys do it too? It's just different times, right?
Different times, but like, yeah. Like, now that I know that you're not on daylight savings anymore, you're exactly 12. Eastern is exactly 12 hours behind. Central is 13 hours behind. And Pacific is 15 hours behind me specifically. So I'll work it out. So you want to go? You want to shoot Friday morning? That's when we're
let's shoot Friday morning. It's supposed to be raining all day anyway, so I'm not going to be out working at all. Thank God. So at least I don't have to work in the rain anymore. So no, I'll be here. I'll be ready to go and ready to take this ass whooping the Tecmo Super Bowl from you anytime Friday morning from 8 o'clock until about noon. So whatever time you'd like to do.
Does not 9 o'clock work for you?
Perfect.
There we go.
So we'll go 9 a.m. on
10 a.m.
Eastern
Eastern,
on Friday.
9 a.m. Central, and 7 a.m. Pacific Friday morning. Tecmo Super Bowl on my side of the fence. Let's go.
And I'll go ahead and put the link, if you don't already know how to get to his channel, I'll put the link down in the description below. right here at the end of this live to make sure that all y'all can go and check us out the Friday morning, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. That's going to be 8 a.m. on the Pacific, and I guess that would be 10 a.m. on Eastern. So, yeah.
I think you got it wrong. I think it's
7
a.m.
I always do.
7 a.m. Pacific,
7
9
a.m.
a.m.
Pacific.
Central, 10 a.m. Eastern.
Hey, and straight shout out to the motherfuckers on the West Coast going to show up and watch that shit, because that's really early to be watching some video games. I'll be real with you about that. But hey, I'll definitely appreciate all y'all for showing up. We both will. Come on and show up and watch your boy Critique get his ass whooped by afakasi again. And we'll find some better teams to use this time. Definitely. But hey, man, where can everybody find you? If you guys don't know where to find afakasi already, hey, listen up. This is his plug right now.
Type in AFAKASI. That's AFAKASI Raider. Or if you struggle to write that because you can't remember and you don't want to rewind the footage, just type in Raiders World Order as spelled. You'll find my channel there. And that's where we're going to get into some gaming. We've been getting into some retro gaming quite a bit the last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun, but I prefer the Tecmo Super Bowl. That's the most fun I've had with you when it comes to retro gaming, Raider Critique. You can also find me on Rumble. We've been getting some traction on there with our gaming content. Some of our videos actually got more views on the Rumble side of things. So if you guys haven't already, if you can follow me on Rumble as well, us on Rumble, like, because we're both putting out content there. Afakasi Raider, same YouTube handle on the Rumble side of the fence. That's where Ben, shout out to Raider Ben, is starting to really make it his own, because a lot of his content's exclusive over there. It's not exclusive anymore on YouTube. And I've started to make my move onto the Rumble side of the fence. So if you guys have Rumble's accounts, or if you don't, you could sign on there and start supporting us on that side of the fence. That would be appreciated. So, yeah.
Shit, that's what's up, man.
Let's get ready to rumble, right?
And Rumble is a free speech platform like YouTube, in case you guys don't know. It's a free speech platform where you can say what you want, when you want, without being demonetized because they don't like your views or don't like what you have to say. So if you really want the uncut versions of really what the fuck we're talking about, now look, you guys hear me cuss a lot over here. But on Rumble, man, I get crunk. I get real crunk on Rumble. And you can go and check us out over off Rumble, man, because at least there we know that we can express our views without having our shit taken down just because somebody gets a little pussy hurt. So go support on Rumble, man, for real. Raider Ben, and I also got a Rumble account too. I haven't really put nothing up on over there because I got into Rumble before it was ever popular, to be honest with you. And I really didn't get much good feedback over there for some, well, doing shows like this, dude. Rumble is, I don't know. Maybe it was just an untapped network for myself, but maybe I can go ahead and start building myself up back over there. But for real, man, that's the place to go. And I mean, that's if you can, if you don't want to stomach this YouTube bigotry anymore. And I understand why, because, I mean, some of y'all, like after this live gets done, you guys won't even know and be notified about this live until 2 days later. All right. And it's because of the things I say here. It's because of how I feel and how my fucking feelings and how my heart is worn on my sleeve about how I feel about this football team and the things that we should do and the things that we are doing. You know what I mean? They don't like that. And it's really obvious when you watch your subscriber count bounce from 618 to 625 in a monthly basis, knowing goddamn well YouTube's just taking subs from you. And they do it to everybody. And that's not speculation. I know that shit is I mean, I guess it is speculation, but I mean, really, there's no other fucking way to pinpoint it. Unless you've got like 3 or 4 people who are just bouncing back and forth, subbing and unsubbing. I mean, I guess that would be a terrible way for me to spend my whole day. I don't know about you. But, yeah, I'm just saying. I think there's a conspiracy behind YouTube. I think YouTube fucking covers up a lot of the true content, and they cover up a lot of the shit with a lot of falsities and bullshit. Hence why the rumor channels fucking run rampant on YouTube and get the most views. You ain't got to be here long. I mean, you ain't got to be here long to kind of see and figure out how it works. You know what I mean? So, to me, I mean, YouTube's fun. I've gotten to meet all of y'all. I'm definitely appreciative of that because without YouTube, I probably would have never met any of you. But when it comes to pushing my content and when it comes to putting me, when we go live, putting me on your notifications and putting me on your feeds for when I come up, I believe YouTube drops the ball. And I believe they drop the ball because of my conservative views. And that's just pretty much how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So, I don't think they push this content. And I do believe that is the reason why. Didn't mean to rant on like that, but I'll tell you what, fuck YouTube, man. Sooner or later, my fucking platform's going to go over to Rumble too. Because I'm sick and tired of getting demonetized or anything like that. Hell, not even being able to hit the sub count to get monetized. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube is prejudiced against me.
Just keep being you, man. Truth with intensity. And let the people support you for being you. I mean, we're still here doing our thing. You know, we've got our own styles, we've got our own unique takes and flavors and what we bring to the table. But yeah, I've already started making my move onto Rumble. I'm still going to be more so on YouTube, but you know, Rumble is also where I'm going to be making my bones. So, are you ready to rumble?
Yeah, and I'm ready to just make that transition over to, and then maybe even move the damn gaming channel over to Twitch. You know what I mean? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm sick and tired of the bullshit YouTube puts us through. It might be the biggest platform, but I'll tell you what, man, they push other people's shit more than they push the truth. And that's what bothers me. You know, I mean, that's just how I feel about it. So anyway, all of you guys, man, stay safe. We love all of you. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, man. If you want to hear the truth with intensity from a couple guys who don't drink the corporate Kool-Aid, man, let's see what we do in this next fucking day of tampering, the tampering period. I mean, when does free agency really start? What is it, like the 14th? I mean, that's when shit's really going to be official. So, oh well, everybody stay tuned to their phones, man. There's got to be more news coming.